What's up? It's the Incurable Collector. Back with another quick look. This time, I'm going to take a peek at the new Marvel Select cable. Now, I have some mixed feelings about this figure. It's kind of a catch-22 type of situation. A gift and a curse is another way to kind of sum it up. On the one hand, we have this incredibly sculpted figure with just an abundance of detail. I mean, that chest harness in particular is just sculpted so well. The pockets, the pouches, all that tech he has on the harness, that 39th century technology, all those gizmos. I mean, he has all types of armaments, the buckles. I mean, there's so much detail on this figure that it's crazy. But on the other hand, because of this fantastic sculpt, it completely restricts the articulation on the top half of his body. So his upper torso is for the most part a statue. There's no ab crunch. There is a waist swivel, but there's no ab crunch. Obviously, the shoulder artic is extremely restricted. He can move his arms up some. However, he's incapable of holding his weapons, or well, rather pointing his weapons. I mean, he can get them up in the T-Rex position, but he can't hold his arms out, all the way out. So in that respect, it's kind of disappointing, especially after coming, behind that Select door, which was, the perfect combination of articulation and sculpt. But here we don't have that merger. We don't have that relationship. We have something that is very well sculpted, but it's also at the same time highly restricted. So there you go. The head sculpt, I can take it or leave it. It's Perlman for sure. It's not bad. It's not great. It's okay. I mean, I like the figure, but at the same time, I don't like the figure. I mean, is that possible? I don't know. I'm impressed with it, and at the same time, I'm disappointed by it. So, like I said at the very beginning, I have some mixed feelings about this figure. Again, it has a fantastic sculpt. I mean, look at all that detail on the harness with the buckles and the padding. It's just a massive harness. It reminds me of Cable, like back from the 90s. His costumes back during that period where he wore those gigantic football pads. So that kind of is what it reminds me of. So I do like the look. I just don't like what it does to the figure and how it restricts the articulation. So anyway, he'll come with with several accessories. He'll come with a bunch of weapons. Actually, some really cool ones. A gigantic cannon, a couple of firearms, a small pistol in a holster, and this little small holster actually fits into one of the thigh holsters. Come with a Rambo knife as well. He'll also come with that Strife base, pretty nice base, pretty decent base. Has some nice detail there. It's kind of creating the scene that Cable has just taken down Strife in some way. Have his helmet, his cape, some of his armor there. So it's a pretty cool little base. So yeah, this figure comes with a bunch of accessories. Like I mentioned, it's incredibly well sculpted. There's some great sculpt on this figure. Maybe they could have went with a rubber material type harness instead. That way we would have been able to get some articulation on the upper torso. But they chose to go ahead and sculpt it. I really can't knock them for that because it looks so good, but at the same time I really wish we had some Arctic on it because I do like this figure. The paint apps, they're pretty good. I mean, they're as good as they have been for a Marvel Select. There is some slop here, there's some slop there, there's some overspray here. But for the most part, the paint apps are pretty good. They're pretty consistent. There's some nice shading on this figure. Looks really cool. Overall, it's a cool figure. I mean, like I said, it's a catch-22. I like it, but then I don't like it. Is that possible? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, if you like Cable, if you're a fan of Cable, he's a mainstay Marvel character. He's been around for a while. He's a pretty popular character. He's a pretty powerful character. He's somewhat of a paradox in a sense that he's a result of his own decisions. By him going back in time and infecting Apocalypse with that techno-organic virus, the same virus that Apocalypse would years later infect him with, and kind of create this circle, makes Cable a very interesting character. So if you like Cable, you'll like this figure more than likely. I wish we had more articulation. That's all I can say. I'm not gonna keep beating that dead horse, but I do wish we had more articulation on this figure. But it's a decent figure. Catch 22, man. But yeah, anyway, that's my review. Thanks for watching.